Welcome back, dear listeners. Couldn't get enough of Connect More? Well, it's your lucky day, and mine, since I've got a couple questions to ask these cats. In this supplemental episode of Connect More, we'll connect some more? Whatever. Let's see what more these puds can possibly have to say.
Hey yo, welcome to an episode of Connect More Supplemental. I'm Eric, there's John.
Hey everybody.
That's Brian.
Greetings.
And there's Jason.
Hi.
We decided to give you a bonus episode in between our regularly scheduled episodes. In the supplemental, we'll take a question from our producer about anything, and this is basically the first time we've heard this question, so there's no prep. Madam Producer, what's your inquiry?
Did you really walk both ways uphill in the snow?
So I think that's a great question. I love it. Generational rib poking is always a fun deal to deal with. But for the record, right? Let's just that walking uphill in the snow both ways. That was our generation before us. We'll gladly own that. But just to be technical about that.
Although we did get more snow when we were kids, though.
I was just going to say that
we did more frequent, heavier.
We actually had legitimate snow days back when we were going to school. And folks, just for a little reference here too, I know that for sure me, Brian, and John, we all lived in the southwest side of Cedar Rapids, but we went to a country school. We went to a school that was nicknamed Cow Pie High. So none of us were walking anywhere, but we had legitimate snow days. And Jason lived in the sticks of the backwaters of the Mississippi north of Dubuque. So
I
he
actually live in the country. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
To get to school. So, so we did have some commutes, and I'm going to run with the snow thing real quick. When this came up, this is the first story that I thought of. You know, when you get to later junior high and early high school, I mean, the one thing you don't want to do is ride the bus to school. That is just not cool, right? So I didn't have a car available to me at that time, but my buddy in the apartments where I grew up, he did. However, it was AMC Pacer. And folks, Google it, kids. If you don't know what an AMC Pacer, let me describe it this way. It's a glass bubble with 4 wheels. And apparently it never came with heat. So if in the wintertime, I didn't want to ride the bus because I wanted to be cool, I would ride to school in the frozen dome of the Pacer and freeze to death getting to school.
I think they drove a Pacer in Wayne's World, didn't they?
Yeah, they
right?
did.
Yeah.
They did. Yep.
Of course, even that movie is probably too old for most of the Gen Zers listening to this.
Not to be confused with the Gremlin.
Right. No, I think it was a Pacer.
Right.
Now, AMC was its own car company too, which there were like a bunch at that time, but
we had a Hornet.
Stopped being a thing. Oh, I love it. Mm-hmm. We had a Maverick. We had the Ford Maverick.
Not a Hornet. It was an Eagle. Remember, it was like a little 4-wheel drive station wagon thing. Remember that?
They were terrible.
The Eagle.
Better. Yes. Crazy.
Better.
The Maverick had a 3-speed on the stem, so you're shifting next to your steering wheel.
3 on the tree, crazy. They call that.
3 on the tree. That's what I was trying to think of. Very good. So we were bused. I mean, our development bordered the next school district, so that as Eric suggests, we went 6 or 7 miles to a school that was out in the middle of nowhere, and that was by design. It was like on a community college campus, but like everybody had to be bused in there, and they would. So early on, we now have a nice. Like big federal highway, 4-lane, moving east and west through my part of the city. But that didn't exist when I was like in kindergarten through probably 4th or 5th grade. And we had to use county roads and gravel roads crossing railroad tracks both ways. So the answer, producer, is yes, it was pretty miserable in both directions. We were bouncing up and down gravel roads on school bus bench seats and then having to stop when there's and it wasn't like trains passing through. There were some of those that would go like at a high speed, but it was a yard, so there'd be a lot of changing taking place. when we would just watch these trains, add cars for 5, 6, 8, 10 minutes. And listen, that's really cool when you don't really want to go home, but it's not cool when you've got to use the bathroom and you weren't counting on that long of a trip. So I can still remember what it was like to really hope that we could be getting past this train any time now. And I can't believe they sent us back and forth with this bus driver opening the door and putting out the stop sign at the railroad tracks, and we just sat there. And I would love to know if I would love to hear if there's any other stories about school buses and railroad tracks, because I just can't believe that they do that today.
Jason, how'd you get to school? You were out there in the
always
sticks.
bust. And the enduring memory for me, of course, just waiting for the bus, like sitting at the end of the driveway in the cold, waiting for that goddamn bus. And we were actually kind of lucky because we live on a dead end road. So the bus would go down and we'd be like, there goes the bus. And we'd know that it takes like 10 minutes for the bus to go down and come back up. So we'd be watching, okay, it's 9 minutes, go. And we could run out there and hopefully the bus would get there right as we go out. And that's kind of what we live on the same farm now that we did when I was a kid. So my boys now have the same experience, like 8 minutes, go. And out they go. But I think the thing, John, like what you were even describing, as far as like the waiting and stuff, I think the thing that my kids would be appalled about is we didn't have anything to do. No phones. We couldn't, we're not listening to the radio. Don't have a playlist going. You were literally just looking out the window. That's the list, like that, or maybe some mild bullying. But otherwise, you were really just looking out the window. That was all you were doing.
We had a very cool bus driver who, it was the year that Thriller came out, played us the entirety of Thriller on the bus, on the daily. And so you could come across that, but I'm pretty sure that person was, disciplined in some way for that. That was the cool bus driver, and they never lasted very long.
Well, see, like Otto from The Simpsons.
Yeah.
Indeed.
So we had Otto pretty much as our bus driver from Lincoln Way. And, but the cool kids would bring a boombox on the bus.
Ooh.
And he could play. So he would play Aldo Nova Fantasy a lot.
Jesus.
But yeah, so we had Aldo Nova, anything by Def Leppard, Photograph, Rock of Ages. That was played every day.
Nice.
It was great. It was great.
And of course, getting back to your message or your memories too, John, not only were you sitting and looking out the window, sometimes, even if you just wanted to look out the window, you actually had to scrape the ice off the inside of the window because it was so humid in there from all the kids. You had to scrape the frost off the damn window to even see out.
And sometimes it'd be, on those cold days too, we stood at a bus stop with a bunch of kids were getting on that bus where I was at. We were like where I grew up, we were like at the end of the line for buses for the school district. And so there was a bunch of kids from this apartment complex. And when it was cold, we would push and shove to be the first ones to get on the bus because you knew where the two heaters on each side of the bus were located. You wanted to sit in those seats and warm up.
How was the bullying at the bus stop? Was there any of that going on?
Oh yes, absolutely. Pushing, shoving, jacking around.
All that happened. Yeah.
Our bus stop was pretty stratified, right? You knew where you were going to stand and which group you were going to be in. This is all covered in the Judd Apatow masterpiece, Freaks and Geeks from 1999.
Totally.
If you want further reading or homework on this topic, but that's what we experienced. Yeah, and it was all right. Yeah, our bus went on a adjacent street, but it was up the hill, so you could just barely see the top of the bus as it would go by. So, Jason, to your point, we would play Rider Truck, Bus, or Hallucination. And do we have to run? Is it time to run?
I think I saw the bus. I think
that was a bus. I think that was a bus. We got to go.
But I always knew if I missed the bus, I could walk. It was across a cornfield, and that farmer would always look out his window and come out and meet you if you were walking across that cornfield. So
meet you in a nice, welcoming way, or with a shotgun?
Not very welcoming. You tell you turn around, go the other way. Yeah, you tell you turn around, go the other way.
Get out of my four-field, boy.
So I would go around. I was smart. I would go that way, but I go around the edge of the field and I come out by elementary school. so he can see you from the house.
I will tell you the other experience that you guys didn't get to have is I was a mile and a half, maybe a mile from General Mills. And so we knew when it was a Count Chocula day, a Blueberry day, or whatever the other one, Frankenberries was. And sometimes even, like there was some kind of cream oatmeal. What am I thinking of? Strawberries and cream maybe for oatmeal. But you knew exactly what was being produced at the plant. And that was actually pretty pleasant to stand and wait for the bus and smell all that.
Well, that was a great question from our producer. We loved going back and thinking about how we got to school and all those good times. And we hope you have those memories as well and share those with the people, especially the generations, how we get to school. How do they get to school now? So thanks for joining us. We hope you enjoyed this bonus Connect More supplemental.
At no extra cost.
No cost. Free. Closing credits, please.
Thank you for listening to Connect More. I'm the producer. Please subscribe and like this podcast because it's my only chance of getting paid for this gig. Connect More is a product of Pantiger LLC and is hosted by Brian Danielson, Eric Van Lanker, Jason Nisus, and John Hedgecoff. Connect More is edited by me and Jocko. The showrunners are Jax, Hedge, and Weenus. Theme music written and recorded by Ryan Veeder. Cover art designed by Leon Golden. Musical director is Evil. Legal liaison is Brian. Lead writers are John and Eric. Runner-up writers are Jason and Captain Danielson. Publication coordinator is Jax. Special thanks to GVC, Aaron, Miss Roper, and Yoko. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Make sure to follow Connect More on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.